before we begin, just while you're making yourself comfortable, I want to take you by the hand if I can and lead you through the streets of Zoom. I feel like all of you after this last 2 years will know exactly what's going on, but just in case, you'll notice that you're on mute. I need you to stay on mute. You can turn your video off. It doesn't mean that you won't see lovely Belinda and Zoe. It just means that we won't see you doing whatever it is that you do on this sort of evening at this time. And if you want to ask any questions at all to Belinda and Zoe, use the chat function, which is at the bottom of the screen. It's halfway, and it's there, and there'll be something that says chat. At the moment, those chats will probably come through to me, and I can pass them on if need be. So these are my top rules again. So if you would like to turn off your video, you can. If you would like to write a note, you can using the chat function down the bottom. And if you would like to make sure that you're going to get the book, get Rapunzel's, the whole set of Rapunzel and Rapunzel's Heirs and Rapunzel, all of them, you will notice that on your little note that I sent you with this link, there is a tab there for you to easily purchase from your Readings online shop, or indeed you can go into any of the beautiful Readings shop and ask for a copy and it will be delivered straight to you. But now let us do a bit of a drum roll and start the night. Hello, everybody. Hello, my name is Christine Gordon. I am the Programming Manager for Readings, and I am delighted to be able to welcome you here to the very first Zoom event of the year. Before we begin, I reckon that we've all got to take a little moment out of our busy day, and I know that all of you have had a busy day. I know that all of you, even if you're working from home, are juggling emotions at the moment and juggling different tasks that you have to do. But I want us still to take another little moment for us just to reflect that wherever we are in Australia, we're living on land that's not ours. We're living on land that's not being ceded. And I reckon that we need to start this year and start this event by acknowledging the First Nations people and by acknowledging the history and the stories that they've given us. I know that my role is to say that we send our respects, but I reckon in 2022, sending our respects to the First Nations people is not enough. I want, on behalf of all of you, to send our gratitude as well. Talking of gratitude, I've just spent the last 10 minutes chatting to lovely Belinda and Zoe, and it seems to me one of the emotions that radiates from this mother-daughter team is gratitude. They seem so pleased that they've been able to produce these books, that they've been able to write these books. They're so happy to be here with you tonight. And it's for that reason that we should all be rushing out to purchase these books, but also because we believe in the power of women and mother and daughter teams, and mainly because we believe in the power of love. Over to Belinda. You're on.
Okay, I'm just going to start by sharing my screen now. Well, hello everybody. I'm really happy that you've come to join us today and taken the time to log in and listen to us. This is our third book, and let me just come over here. And what we're going to do tonight is, firstly, Zoe will talk about her writing experience, because if you don't know that Zoe actually wrote the whole thing, we discussed the plot together. I wrote the first and second books, and then I was very pleased that she could actually write really well, and so I thought that she can write this third book. And then after that, she'll read from the book a little page, and then I'll be talking about what we've been doing with our music label Rapunzel's Sister and our artistic company Magnolia Artistries. So Zoe will start by talking about her writing experience.
Okay, hi everyone. As you know, I'm Zoe, and I wrote Rapunzels Heirs. It has taken so long for this book to finally be published because there was such a process to do everything as well as the actual writing. So I started writing this book in grade 7, and that was a while ago. And it's proved to be challenging creating the book, as my writing style was and still is changing. There would also be long periods of time in between when I would write because of school, amongst other things. Because of the gaps, I tended to either do a mass writing session to get as much of it done as possible whilst I had the required motivation, or do barely anything at all, just editing here and there. So as you can imagine, every time I read over my work, I wasn't really happy with it and wanted to change everything. So that was really hard because it was like I wasn't progressing at all and was always making changes to the writing. It also got harder and harder as the book got longer because there would be months before I picked up where I left off. And in that time I had forgotten most of the details that were crucial in tying the book together. I remember, and this happened a few too many times for comfort, that I would forget small but key ideas here and there, meaning that they were just left hanging in the middle of the book with no conclusions or explanation. I remember that I had something, no spoilers here, be made in the book, and I'd somehow failed to actually include the use of this product in the whole second half of the book. In fact, I'd forgotten about it completely. There were also entire characters that I neglected so much that they basically didn't exist. So I think it's safe to say that it was important that this didn't happen. So this meant I had to read over everything I'd done so far, which was very time consuming. And it also reminded me of my old writing style, which I obviously was not happy with again, so you can imagine it was very hard to find motivation. However, I think I did learn a lot during these times, as I eventually realised that it was a good thing if I didn't like my writing anymore, because it meant that I was improving. But it does also mean that if I were to read the book now, I would want to tweak sentences and rewrite paragraphs and maybe even cringe at phrasings that I used. I guess it's just part of the process. The editors really helped in improving the story as they picked up on things that I missed and brought holes in the plot to my attention. One of them asked me to get rid of a few particularly gory scenes that I had written, which I was initially annoyed about because I wanted it to be somewhat realistic, but then remembering that this book is targeted at primary school children, I changed it pretty fast. I would like to thank my mum especially because obviously without her this would never have happened and I would never have had all these amazing experiences. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So I'll read just a little section from the book. It's on like page 11, if you wanted to know. Okay. Welcome to the spring tournament where we celebrate the rebirth of all living things. Everyone applauded. To all the newcomers, the tournament is held every year to celebrate the peace and prosperity between the Sylvana and Magnolian kingdoms. Nicola rolled her eyes and whispered to Simon and Alice as Miri's voice faded into the background. It's the same speech every year. I'm so bored already. Do we have to listen to all of it? Nicola, you know we have to, as we're the heirs to the throne. And they have to have a speech because new people come and we can't have them not knowing what to do. And don't roll your eyes. If someone saw you, we would all get in trouble. You know we have to have a perfect reputation in public so we can be good leaders. Alice whispered back with a disapproving tone. Fine, whatever. Nicola just caught herself from sneering. Why did Alice always have to act as if she was better than her? She always lectured Nicola like a know-it-all, and everyone seemed to like her better. It wasn't fair at all. Nicola reluctantly returned her attention to Miri, planning on paying attention, before a glint caught her eye. Where did that come from? It seemed like it was coming from Miri's arm, but Miri's dress didn't have any gems on it, or not any that Nicola could see. So then what was it? Nicola watched closely. There it was again. Miri's sleeve had fallen down, exposing a bracelet of some kind. Nicola didn't know why she was suddenly so interested in it. It was only a bracelet. A little disturbed at herself, Nicola forced her attention away. Then soon she forgot all about it.
Thanks, Zoe. So next I'm going to talk about our creative company, which was founded in November 2020. And since then, it was such a steep learning curve with all these things I had to learn and memberships to join. And we also had to create a website, and we're also part of all these platforms that people are quite familiar with. So Magnolia Artistries consists of both books and music. So of course now you know the 3 books which we wrote and released in 2018, 2020 and now this year. Then the following year, after Rapunzel's sister, so in 2019, my friend Angie Coffey and Simon Lewis, they created all these dance instrumental songs, which were then used by Q School of Dance in their 10-year celebration concert. So it was a storytime ballet. I think I might have mentioned this before, but for some of the newcomers, maybe you didn't know we created this album. The next thing is talking about the songs, and they're both vocal and instrumental songs, and I've just listed the vocalists and the musicians, so a lot of these people you may have heard of already. The musicians are mostly classical or jazz musicians, and these include the people we've worked with, but also some of which we will be working with in the future. So our first single was Princess of My Land featuring Harrison Craig, and that was released in April 2021. And this was followed by Reprise, which has the voices of Harriet Alcroft and Olivia Condamo, who are both amazing jazz vocalists. And most recently, we released an instrumental guitar piece called Revenge, and this was released just recently in January. I'm going to just stop sharing so I can play you about 15 seconds of the Revenge piece, and if you want to listen to the whole thing, you'll have to go to our YouTube site. So I'm just stopping that and then bringing up a different. Okay, and just our future projects, we aim to continue to create more music and music videos. We've got many pieces coming up, and then we'll put it all together in an album, and then hopefully probably next year I think we'll be making a short audio visual project, because we'd like to take this further. I've got big ideas about it, but we have to have something to tie it all together. And of course, we do have some ideas to write a few more books, but at the moment not so much, but it's definitely there in the back of our minds. So that's a very short talk, and thank you so much everybody for attending. Thank you Christine Gordons and Readings for hosting this event. We'd like to thank all the readers and fans of our music and books, especially Olivia and Alexandra. We'd like to thank all our amazing musicians, graphic artists, our marketing people, film directors, producers, and our legal team. And also mostly I'd thank my music team, Angie Coffey and Daniel Frankel. Without them, none of this will be, the music wouldn't even happen. To Zoe for drawing the Rapunzel picture in 2016 that was a seed for this whole project. And also to my family for ongoing support. And especially my parents, because they always listened and encouraged our new ideas and goals. And that's given us courage to live our dreams and dream big. So that's about it. Thanks, Christine.
Such a pleasure to hear about this. I'm going to ask you to stop sharing your screen now, just so that we've got so the audience there. There we go. That's much better. So I'm getting just a little note here from someone called Kate, and she says, "Do you think you're going to continue writing? Is this something that this is going to be your life's work now, or is this What do you think? Are you going to write more fiction?
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't plan on having it as a career because I feel like just the pressure of having to write books for a living, that it would kind of take the enjoyment out of writing and it would just become a task. Like you just have to do it or you won't be able to live somewhere or something.
Mm.
So it might be like a sad thing in the
I
future.
just want you to know, Zoe, I'm going to quote you to many, many authors. I'm going to quote you directly. I think you're absolutely right. But you should do what you love. So I guess that's what Kate is asking. Do you love it enough to keep doing it?
Uh, I don't know. Like it depends on my mood. Like sometimes I'm really inspired and I really want to write, but sometimes I just like don't feel like writing, so that would be a problem if I was an author.
I think so. But
Yeah.
I think everybody goes through those sort of moments where they don't feel like working.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm sure I'm not speaking alone here.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got any other questions that they would like to ask? Because I have just got a couple that I would just before we leave, if that's all right. Belinda, when you saw that your daughter was this talented uh, person that had these sort of conceptual ideas and was taking a fairy tale further, I'm not sure what's happening there.
Oh, Dad, what are you doing?
It's fun though. It's good. It's good that we're going to see something else. There's excitement.
Dad, I'm seeing it. Dad, turn it off. Dad. Oh,
Uh,
what
but
are you?
I want to, I think ignore that.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm just going to see what I can do. Yeah, I can't, he's going to have to do it for me. Miss
It's
Lou, you're going to have to, there we go. I want to know when you knew that you had something here for yourself, when you knew that you could be, I don't know, that the coming together of the two of you could be made into this series, could be made into screenplays and music. How did you know? Was that how did you know?
I guess I don't know where this will go, but I've got really big dreams about turning this into some sort of TV series or maybe a film, or I'd love to.
Where's all this come from?
Well, see, I love music and I love
Yeah.
singing, and I've learnt the piano and did the violin when I was younger. And I think Mum and Dad letting us, not, they didn't make us, we wanted to do the music. I love piano. And we just wanted to, I just have this love for musicals. So when the children were younger, we'd go off to see so many musicals, and I'd always play them in the car. Now they're totally sick of them. So, but
I'm sure that's not true.
love it. Yeah.
And I'm getting a couple more notes in here. This one's from Rosalind. She's saying, "Can you tell us about how you got connected to so many brilliant and famous artists? How did that work?"
I'd say probably it was via Angie, my composer friend. So she knows a lot of people, but also I knew someone at work who is a jazz singer, and she also recommended some names, and then we just sometimes it was via someone else that we knew these people, and then from one person leads to another person and then another recommendation. But Harrison Craig, I just approached the agent. I didn't know anyone then, and he was our first star. And I think just having him on board and his beautiful personality and his name and the fact that he won the voice, and it was just amazing to have him with us and sing our first song. So I think from then slowly you just got a bit more credibility with other artists wanting to come, and then if you treated them really well, which we always do, with a lot of respect, generosity, and they always have a great time when they come do one of our sessions, then I think other people, they just know that they'll have a good time and they get paid well when they come to us. So they nearly always said yes. I mean, we've had people say no, of course, but that's fine.
How do we find out about these performances?
Oh, so every single single we're about to release will go, we'll have a music video with it,
Mhm.
and then that will go on our YouTube what do you call it, the YouTube channel.
Yes.
And then we also advertise through social media, so Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And so we set all that up. We've got a marketing agent as well. So we try to reach as many people. And
Amazing.
yeah.
Certainly, and I say it here in front of witnesses, you must come and do something in one of our shops
I
when
would
we go
love
back. Yeah,
to.
yeah, that can do. We'd love to have some music in there.
Awesome.
And of course, I want to meet Zoe. Maybe I'll be an author, maybe I won't. But Olivia wants to know if you've got a fourth book in you. Zoe, have you got more ideas? Can this series go any further?
We do have some more ideas, but they're obviously not developed now. And like, I don't think it would be part of the series. Like, it would probably be sort of separate, but like maybe a little bit connected. I don't know. We haven't really solidified. Whatever.
Maybe it'd be a prequel. It might be a prequel. Would it be?
So Rapunzel's mother is sort of a prequel,
Yeah.
unless you go really far back.
Right back. I mean, that's what everyone seems to be doing, that write series, don't they? They go all the way back.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, we're all with bated breath. That's what we've got, bated breath, waiting to see whether or not any of your ideas will format into another book. You've got fans. So I think that what I can say to you is, on behalf of Readings and on behalf of everybody that's here, congratulations. Congratulations on achieving so much during the most extraordinary couple of years and before, I know, but really to have kept producing so much art, so many words, and so much creativity during a particularly difficult 2 years, I find quite extraordinary. And I'm so delighted to be able to know that you are keep going and that you are still working together. It's just wonderful to see. So congratulations on behalf of Readings. And to all of you out there, do stay safe. I know it's like playing dodgeball out there, isn't it? That we're just sort of avoiding COVID at every corner. But you know what I do know? I do know that if you have a good book and you sit in a corner, it's like there's no trouble in the world. Good night, everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Last words to anyone? No? No? There we go. Good night, everyone.
Good night.